Hey CIS 102, this is Jenny Kunkel. In this video for Module 12, we're going to take a closer look at Platform as a Service and Infrastructure as a Service. I believe your text does a pretty good job of covering the software as a service, but maybe doesn't expound enough on the other types quite as much. The leading integration platforms as a service vendors all provide functions like integration connectors to various software solutions like SAP, Salesforce, Workday, etc. They also allow you to deploy processes as API solutions that can be called as REST or web services by other applications. They allow for flexible deployment in either cloud or on premise computing environments. We have a number of players in this market. We're going to start with Informatica, Intelligent Cloud Services. There is MuleSoft, which is owned by Salesforce, Oracle SAO, SAP Integration Suite, TIBCO Cloud Integration. We have Dell Boomi, which really was acquired by an equity firm and now is just referred to as Boomi in this space. Going back to 2013, I was working at a manufacturer who had a custom web application that kept a separate general ledger set of books for monthly, quarterly, and year-end reporting and processing. That general ledger data from that web application needed to be pushed into the corporate general ledger that was kept in an SAP solution. In order to do this, we had quite a bit of complicated code that we needed to write in order to make this happen natively. The problem with doing this is that the code was written and it was subject to breaking based on security updates that were applied to any of the web servers, to the SAP server. It wasn't a great solution because of some of the complex integrations that we were needing to do at that time between different products that we had acquired. We contracted with Dell Boomi to use their iPaaS solution to help simplify and streamline our delivery time and to simplify some of the support of our integrations between different products. Our Boomi integrations were developed within the cloud platform. However, they were deployed to a set of servers running on premise due to security concerns with processing in the cloud. We ended up replacing that general ledger process with a Boomi process that was achieved by just dropping in some web service and SAP connectors in an integration, providing a quick mapping between the output formats of the web application to the input format of the SAP connector. This resulted in a much more robust solution, and we were able to get this deployed in a fraction of the time that it required for the original solution to be developed. On the infrastructure as a service side, there are a number of players like AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba, IBM Cloud, DigitalOcean, Salesforce Cloud, Tencent. I'm not going to necessarily go through them all. By moving workloads to the cloud, companies can benefit from cost savings related to the number of staff required, the space utilization, and software licensing. There is reliability in the fact that backups are being taken routinely, and there are strategies in place for disaster recovery. The biggest issues with any of the cloud platforms, whether it is software as a service, platform as a service, or infrastructure as a service, is data security from hackers, data confidentiality from shared clouds, and then also what happens if the provider is no longer in business. That's a biggie there. If we look at the plethora of options available in AWS, we can see that there's offerings in containers, in storage, database, networking, developer tools, robotics, blockchain, management and governance, analytics, security, identity and compliance, machine learning, and application integration, Internet of Things. If we look at Azure, we can see that there is some similarities. We have AI machine learning, analytics, computing, containers, databases, DevOps, general, hybrid, multi-cloud, Internet of Things, compute, just lots of different things here. There's a lot of similar offerings between the two. Now, what does it take to actually do something? Like if I needed to have a virtual machine spun up, if I click on it, I can go through a set of dialogues to make this happen. It's just a series of questions that I would need to answer, and I'm not going to fill in all the blanks or anything. But we can see here that I would just need to put in some type of a resource group and what I want to call my virtual machine name. I can then go ahead and look at some of the options here, change whatever is needed, go to the networking, put in my virtual network, change any of the options here, come in, go ahead and pick what are my options. In my case, I would be picking the free ones. If I wanted to use Azure AD, which is Active Directory for authentication, I can look at my backup, my auto shutdown, etc., answer those questions, get into my monitoring, answer those questions, come to the advanced, answer those questions, finally put in any tags I wanted, and then come into my review and create. Obviously, it's not going to create it because I left out some stuff, but you can see that the whole entire process doesn't take necessarily a long time to go ahead and provision a virtual machine, whereas you would have to then go through, if we were using VMware and something, go through some similar steps, but you would have to have space available. You don't necessarily have to worry about that because it's all in the cloud.